Supporters of jailed Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny are hitting pause on protests for now. This weekend has been quiet in Russia, but just last weekend we saw huge nationwide demonstrations and police crackdowns. More than 5,000 people were arrested in the biggest show of force the country has seen in years. Alexei Navalny has been sentenced to more than 2.5 years in prison for charges he says are politically motivated. And he was back in court Friday on more charges. Here to discuss how this impacts his plans to take on Putin and how this all is playing out inside Russia, I'm joined by Katerina Kodrikadze, anchor and correspondent at Dosh TV or Rain TV. And that's the only independent news network now in Russia covering non-state-run news. And Vladimir Ashurkov, he is the executive director of Navalny's Anti-Corruption Foundation. Welcome, both of you. Vladimir, let me start with you. I know that Navalny had anticipated a prison sentence, was likely upon his return. You said that your plan is to play the long game here, which could be even 5 years down the road. Explain how that will work, given what's happening in Russia right now.
The regime of Vladimir Putin, which is based on economic and political corruption, may seem stable, but it's cracking in different parts. And we believe that discontent of people is growing. And our strategy is to be the most organized political force when this regime starts to change. And we're gaining support. We are doing investigations. We're turning ourselves into a media outlet. We train in organizing mass protests, and that's what will get us there.
Well, your videos have seen record numbers of clicks. The latest video about Putin's alleged palace has seen over 100 million clicks and has been viewed over 100 million times on YouTube. So clearly you have hit a nerve there with Russians, but you have suspended future protests now until the spring and summer, focusing instead on the upcoming parliamentary elections in September. This comes, as you said, the economy is hurting, incomes are down, so is Putin's image in the minds of millions, thanks to the Navalny videos that you put out. Explain the significance of these elections, especially for Putin's party, United Russia.
Even though political system in Russia is quite oppressed and controlled from Kremlin, elections are still a pressure point, an uncertainty point for the authorities, and we plan to use it for campaigning, for trying to get independent candidates into the parliament, and generally to create awareness of the injustice and corruption of the current regime and the alternative that we present.
And this is picking up in cities across the country, we should note. Katya, I was glued to your programming over the past few weeks, ever since Navalny's arrest. I watch you every day. You were covering his arrest, that farce of a trial, the sentencing, all of the protests, including the brutal actions taken by police. I have to say the reactions from you and your colleagues was what really jumped out at me. It did seem as this it took you even by surprise. Can you describe how so, and also how these protests do seem to extend beyond just Navalny?
Yeah, it's not about Navalny at all. I mean, yeah, of course, he is the person who is the hero in Russia right now, because he is the only person who could be brave enough to come back to Russia after he was poisoned and after he understood, and it was absolutely clear for him that he would be detained. And he knows and he understands that he may be poisoned or someone can try to kill him again. And now he's behind bars, and we understand that he is in a terrible danger. That's why he is some kind of a, Russian new century, new kind of a hero, a new myth and symbol in this country. But a lot of people, including my friends and lots of people around me, journalists, political analysts, just citizens, they really are fighting now, not for him, but for him to have an opportunity to be on the elections and to vote against him, for example. The problem is that
kita ngerasain banget sih progres dari sejak kita mengeluarkan siram regalnya ini gitu.
Is banned from the election.